This is the 2026 Ferrari Amalfi, and if you've ever loved the idea of a modern Ferrari GT, but were left cold by the reality of actually driving one every day, then this is the car Maranello built just for you. For years, Ferrari's critics, and even their own clients, complained about complicated tech, confusing screens, and steering wheels that felt like giant capacitive touchpads. It was style over sensibility. The new Amalfi changes everything. It has the most horsepower of any modern front V8 Ferrari GT without a hybrid system, plus a completely new interior where they actually gave you back your physical buttons. But here's the real kicker. Maranello claims the brake-by-wire system stops this 631 horsepower Grand Tourer from 60 miles an hour, 34 feet shorter than the car it replaces. Did Ferrari really listen this time, giving us an analog heart with a digital brain that finally works? We drove the Amalfi on the open road to find out if this is the ultimate act of atonement. Welcome to the newest member of the Prancing Horse family, the 2026 Ferrari Amalfi. This car isn't about setting new lap records at Fiorano. It's about a different kind of performance. It's about grand touring, that perfect Italian blend of speed, elegance, and genuine, daily usability. This car is the official successor to the Ferrari Roma, which ended its run in 2024. But in true Ferrari fashion, they didn't just give the Roma a mild tune-up. They gave it a new soul and a new name, inspired by the most beautiful stretch of coastline in the world. The story of Ferrari has always been divided. The screaming mid-engine track weapons and the long-legged, sensual Grand Tourers. The Amalfi falls squarely into that second crucial category. This is the front mid-engine V8 coupé, the entry point to the brand, designed to be the Ferrari for the customer who wants to actually use their $280,000 plus machine more than once a month. In the US market, this is incredibly significant. American buyers aren't just after raw speed anymore. They want the status and the sound, yes, but they also want Apple CarPlay that works, a cabin that feels luxurious for a 4-hour drive, and a body that can handle a speed bump without calling a flatbed. Ferrari's rivals, Aston Martin and Bentley, have been eating this GT lunch for years by focusing heavily on comfort and tech integration. The Amalfi is Ferrari's attempt to dominate the luxury GT space once again. They've kept the glorious non-hybrid 3.9-liter twin-turbo V8, now pushing an even stronger 631 horsepower directly to the rear wheels. This decision to stick with pure, unassisted V8 power is a statement in an age of electrification. They are giving the enthusiast exactly what they asked for, a classic formula, perfected. But here's the key question we need to answer in this review. Did those critical changes to the interior controls and braking system truly fix the frustrating daily driver issues of the Roma? We're going to spend the next several minutes breaking down every detail, from the sculpted bodywork to that new, highly anticipated cabin, to see if the Amalfi delivers on the promise of the ultimate usable Ferrari GT. Stay tuned, because the difference is more than just a name. Now that we understand the mission, let's peel back the curtain and see the details, starting with the sheet metal. The Amalfi had a tough job. It had to keep the timeless elegance of its predecessor, the Roma, but correct some of the polarizing details. The big change is up front. The old car's body-colored egg crate grille is gone. In its place, we get this much cleaner, shark nose front fascia that ties the Amalfi directly to Ferrari's newest flagship hypercars, like the 12-cylindry and the F80. It's less retro, more technical, with a dark, slim bar connecting the restyled LED headlights. The entire face looks lower, wider, and far more aggressive. The story of redemption is most clear at the rear. The Roma's back end was its most divisive feature, but the Amalfi re-sculpts it entirely. The taillights are slimmer, the license plate has been cleanly relocated lower down, and the prominent, sometimes awkward pop-up spoiler is replaced by a sophisticated active wing that's beautifully integrated into the tail. It's invisible when you don't need it, but at speed, it can deploy up to 3 different positions, adding 242 pounds of real downforce at 155 miles per hour. This isn't just a styling tweak. It's a huge dynamic improvement that promises better stability at those glorious grand touring speeds. But if the exterior is evolution, the interior is a revolution of common sense. Let's talk about that atonement. The biggest sin of the past was the steering wheel. The Roma and its siblings went all in on capacitive touch controls that were frustrating to use while driving. Ferrari finally listened. The Amalfi's wheel is redesigned with tactile physical buttons. This is huge. The turn signals click, the cruise control buttons press, and yes, that iconic red engine start button is now a beautiful piece of anodized aluminum you can actually push. The emotional, ritualistic thrill of starting a Ferrari is back. Ferrari didn't stop there. They ditched the Roma's vertical infotainment screen for a new 10.25-inch landscape display in the center, which is far easier to read and use on the move. We still get the breathtaking 15.6-inch curved driver display and the 8.8-inch passenger display that lets your co-pilot see the G-forces and control their music. Crucially, modern usability is standard. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are finally built right in. Add to that the optional 14-speaker Burmester audio system and available massaging seats, and this 2+2 cabin feels less like a race car penalty box and more like a true luxury sanctuary. Now for the main event. The engine. This 3.9-liter twin-turbo V8 now spits out 631 horsepower. That's 19 more than before, thanks to a new engine control unit from the 296 lighter camshafts and faster spinning turbos that hit 171,000 RPM. The result? 0 to 62 miles per hour happens in a blistering 3.3 seconds. But the number isn't the story. The feel is. Ferrari engineered this to have a more immediate, naturally aspirated throttle response, and the sound, well, they re-engineered the exhaust to meet all the noise regulations without losing that visceral, flat-plane crank snarl we all crave. You truly have to hear this thing at 7,600 RPM. Finally, let's talk dynamics. The chassis is familiar, but the control systems are all next generation. The new electric power steering is connected to Ferrari's latest side-slip control, SSC 6.1, making the car feel impossibly agile for a front-engine GT. And that revolutionary brake-by-wire system? It's borrowed from their mid-engine track weapons, promising stronger, more consistent braking. We've seen the numbers and the features, but do all these fixes, the buttons, the tech, the better brakes, actually translate to a superior experience on the worst roads? And more importantly, does this non-hybrid V8 still feel like the heart of a Ferrari when you're pushing it to the limit? Stick around, because we're about to deliver our key highlights and drawbacks, including the shocking truth about that $280,000 starting price. We've put the Amalfi through its paces, from the tight backroads where it should shine, to the brutalized highways of the American Northeast where a true GT is tested. And this is where the Amalfi proves its title. It truly atones. The single biggest highlight isn't the power, though the 631 horsepower V8 is ferocious. It's the usability. The physical buttons are transformative. That might sound boring for a supercar, but on the Roma, fighting a haptic panel to change the radio station was a moment of pure friction that broke the connection to the drive. Here, with the tactile switches and the real start button, every action feels intentional, precise, and emotional. Ferrari didn't just add buttons, they brought back the ritual of driving. The second massive highlight is the dynamic control. That brake-by-wire system is astonishing. We tested it repeatedly, and the claims are true. It hauls the Amalfi down from triple-digit speeds with physics-defying force, but the pedal feel remains consistent, confident, and perfectly modulated, even when hammering through a sequence of turns. The combination of the refined V8, the snappy 8-speed DCT, and this new chassis control makes the Amalfi feel 10 times more intuitive than its predecessor, blending daily comfort with track precision seamlessly. But is the atonement complete? No, because the drawbacks still exist. The first is the price creep. The Amalfi is beautiful, but the expected starting price close to $280,000 pushes it aggressively into territory where cars like the Bentley Continental GT offer a slightly more opulent, higher quality finish, especially in the secondary cabin materials. And speaking of the cabin, those rear 2+ seats? They are still a marketing concept, not a place for adult human beings. The most frustrating drawback, the sound in its most aggressive setting, is incredible. That flat-plane crank snarl is back. But Ferrari had to work so hard to appease noise regulations that in comfort mode, the V8 is genuinely muted, almost shy. It's too quiet for a Ferrari, a constant reminder of the regulatory walls Maranello is navigating. Ultimately, the Amalfi is a masterpiece of correction. It takes an already gorgeous shape and overlays it with the usability and tech that the modern wealthy buyer needs. It's a stunning balance of beauty and brutality, but is it the Grand Tourer King? The answer to that depends entirely on which trim level you choose. Stick around for the verdict and my precise buying guide. So, does the 2026 Ferrari Amalfi succeed? Yes, emphatically. This car is Ferrari's grand admission, a true act of atonement for the brief, frustrating era of haptic-heavy steering wheels and overcomplicated tech. They have taken the Roma's stunning design and paired it with the usability, tactility, and raw performance purity that modern buyers, especially here in the US, demand. The pros. The tactile steering wheel restores the driving ritual. You get pure V8 power with no hybrid baggage. The brake-by-wire system provides phenomenal stopping power, and the integrated tech with CarPlay is finally seamless. The cons. The bass sound profile is too quiet, the 2+ seating is a joke, and the price creep is real. Who should buy this? If you are a first-time Ferrari buyer or a Porsche 911 Turbo owner looking for more charisma, the Amalfi in its standard trim is the best entry point in a decade. The pro tip: skip the exotic paint and heavy carbon body options, and instead prioritize the comfort seats with massage function and the Burmester audio system. Those interior features, coupled with the functional brake-by-wire system, unlock the true grand touring capability, making this a spectacular daily driver for around $315,000 fully kitted out. The Amalfi's impact is massive. It proves that even as Ferrari moves toward electrification with its supercars, it is committed to preserving the pure V8 GT formula for the everyday enthusiast. It throws down a serious gauntlet to the Aston Martin DB12 and the Bentley Continental GT, forcing those rivals to step up their dynamic game. This isn't just a new Ferrari, it's a better-mannered, more focused, and frankly, smarter Ferrari. The sins of the past are paid for. But what do you think? Is the return of physical buttons enough to convince you to choose the Amalfi over the competition? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this in-depth look, hit that like button, subscribe for more honest reviews built for the US market, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching,